Dear child, I see the way you've been holding that one thought. It like a stone you've been turning over and over in your pocket until the edges are smooth and your fingers are tired from the constant rubbing. You've been waiting for a sign that feels like a lightning bolt, or maybe just a day where you wake up and finally feel like you have enough of yourself to give to the world. But I've been sitting here watching the sun go up and down, watching the way you pull back right when your heart starts to open. And I realized we couldn't wait another night to talk about this. There is a specific kind of tired that comes from staying in a place you've already outgrown. I can see it in the way you rest your head on your hand when you think no one is looking. It isn't that you're lazy, or that you've lost your way. It's just that you're holding your breath waiting for a permission slip that was signed and handed to you a long time ago. You keep telling yourself that you'll move when the fear stops, or when the bank account looks a certain way, or when you finally stop feeling like an imposter in your own life. But beloved, if we wait for the fear to vanish, we'll be sitting on this porch forever. Fear doesn't go away because you ignore it, it goes away because you take it by the hand and walk anyway. I needed to tell you this now because your heart is starting to get heavy under the weight of all those not yet. That heaviness isn't a sign that you should stop, it's actually the opposite. It's the internal pressure of a life that is trying to expand beyond the walls you've built to keep yourself safe. Safety is a beautiful thing for a season, but even a garden needs the fence to be moved when the trees start to grow. And you, dear heart, are starting to grow. I know the questions that keep looping in your mind. What if I'm wrong? What if I step out and find nothing but empty air? What if I'm not the person I thought I was? I want you to look at me for a second. I am the one who wove the complexity into your mind. I am the one who put that specific ache in your chest, the one that wakes you up at 3 in the morning. That ache isn't a punishment, it's a homing beacon. It's my way of whispering that there is a path made specifically for your feet to walk. But the path only appears when the foot hits the ground. It doesn't stretch out miles ahead like a highway with clear signs and bright lights. It's more like a doorway that only opens when you're standing right in front of it, willing to reach for the handle. And you've been standing in the hallway for a very long time, my child. The light coming through the cracks of that door is meant to warm your face, not just mock you in the dark. I am not asking you to leap into a canyon. I am just asking you to stop leaning against the wall. The hallway is comfortable. I know you've memorized the patterns on the floor. You know exactly where the shadows fall. But there is no air in the hallway anymore. It becomes stale. Your soul is hungry for the wind, even if that wind feels a little bit chilly at first. I've watched you try to convince yourself that you're being patient, but we both know the difference between patience and a quiet, polite kind of surrender. You haven't surrendered to me. You've surrendered to the idea that you don't deserve the next chapter yet. You've been waiting to be fixed before you can be useful, or before you can be happy. But I don't need you fixed. I don't love the perfect version of you that you're trying to manufacture. I love the version of you that is sitting here right now, with the messy thoughts and the chipped edges. Beloved family, we continue this mission quietly, with faith, even when it is not easy. If God places it on your heart to support this work, you can find the link is in the description and comment box. Every small act of support carries this message forward. Precious one, the message that couldn't wait is simply this: the world needs the unfinished you. The impermanent you is the only one that can heal the people I am sending your way. If you wait until you are a polished stone, you won't have any grip left. You need those rough edges to hold on to the things that matter. I see you looking at your hands and wondering if they are strong enough to carry what's coming. They aren't. Not on their own. But they don't have to be. That's the part you always seem to forget. I am the strength in the grip. I am the steadying force in the wrist. Your job is just to reach. My job is to provide the muscle. You've been repeating a thought about being too late. You look at the years that have passed and you feel a sense of grief, like you've missed a train that isn't coming back. Listen to me. I am the author of time. I don't work with clocks that can be broken. I work with seasons. And in my world, a single moment of yes can reclaim a decade of no. Nothing has been wasted. Every single one of those years where you felt stuck was actually a time of deep underground rooting. You couldn't see it. You felt like you were just sitting in the dirt. But you were absorbing the nutrients you'll need for the growth that is about to happen. If you had moved earlier, you would have toppled over in the first breeze. But now you are solid. Even if you feel shaky, the core of you is firm. That is why I am pushing you now. That is why I'm saying this cannot wait. The weather has changed. The ground has softened. The invitation is no longer a whisper at the back of your mind. It is a shout in your spirit. You can feel it in your restlessness. You can feel it in the way your old hobbies and distractions don't seem to satisfy you anymore. You're trying to eat the food of a child when you've become a grown soul. It's time to move toward the feast. I know you're worried about the people you might leave behind or the ones who won't understand why you're suddenly different. You've spent your life being the one who keeps everyone else comfortable. You've been the one who stays quiet so the room stays still. But little one, you weren't meant to be a piece of furniture. You were meant to be a fire. And fires are rarely still or quiet in the way people expect. They provide heat, they provide light, but they also change things. If people are uncomfortable with your growth, it's usually because your light is shining on the places where they've decided to stay stuck. That isn't your burden to carry. You don't owe anyone your stagnation. The only thing you owe the world is the fullness of the person I created, and that person is currently pacing back and forth inside your chest, looking for an exit. Let them out. Let the real you speak. Let the real you dream without immediately following it up with a reason why it can't happen. I want to talk to you about the how, because I know that what makes you freeze. You want a map. You want to see the destination with a little red dot that says you are here. But the life we are building together doesn't work on maps, it works on a path. And a path is only wide enough for one step. I am not going to show you what things look like 5 years from now. If I did, you'd either be too terrified to start or too proud to grow. I am only showing you the next 3 inches of ground in front of your toes. Can you trust me for 3 inches? Can you trust me enough to move your foot just that much? That's all the urgency is. It's not an urgency to finish, it's an urgency to begin. Because the beginning is where the life is. You've been living in a rehearsal. You've been practicing your lines. You've been checking your costume. But the curtain has been up for a long time, friend. The audience isn't a crowd of judges waiting for you to mess up. The audience is a world of people who are just as lonely and just as tired as you were. They are waiting for someone to have the courage to be real so that they can be real too. Your yes today is the yes someone else needs to hear tomorrow. Your movement creates a ripple that will wash up on shores you will never visit. You think this is just about you, but it's about the whole fabric. Every time a heart wakes up, the whole world gets a little bit brighter. And I'm tired of seeing you dim your bulb just because you're afraid of the glare. I made the sun, didn't I? I'm not afraid of light. I want you to take a second and just feel the weight of your body where you're sitting. Feel the air moving in and out. That breath is my gift. It's happening right now. It's not a yesterday breath or a tomorrow breath. It's a now breath. And that's where I live. I don't live in your regrets about the past. I don't live in your anxiety about the future. I live in the pulse you feel in your wrist at this very second. And at this second, everything is provided for. At this second, you are safe. At this second, you have everything you need to take that one small step. I know you feel small. I know you feel like a drop of water in a very vast, very chaotic ocean. But I see the drop. I know the temperature of the drop. I know the salt content. And I know that without that drop, the ocean is incomplete. You are not a mistake. You are not an afterthought. You are not a plan B because you think you ruined plan A. There is only one plan, and you are right in the center of it. The reason this message couldn't wait is because the season is turning. Can you smell the rain? The drought is ending in your life. The period of dryness, where you felt like you were just surviving, is being replaced by a season of fruitfulness. But you have to go out into the field. You can't stay in the barn. The barn is where you hid from the storm, but the sun is out now. I want you to look at your life and identify the one thing you've been putting off because you don't feel ready. Maybe at a conversation, maybe at a creative project, maybe at just the act of forgiving yourself for being human. Whatever that thing is, I want you to see it not as a mountain but as a doorway. It isn't there to stop you, it's there to give you a way into the next room. And I am standing there holding the door open. I'm not tapping my foot. I'm not looking at my watch with an angry face. I'm just smiling. I'm saying, come on. The view from here is incredible. I've been waiting to show you what we're going to do next. You don't need to bring all your baggage, in fact it won't fit through the door. You've been trying to carry every version of yourself you've ever been. The child who was hurt, the teenager who was confused, the adult who failed. You can leave them in the hallway, I've already taken care of them. I've already gathered them up and told them they are loved. You only need to bring the you that is breathing right now, the one who is curious, the one who is a little bit brave underneath all that hesitation. I want to reassure you about the things you think you've lost. I am the God of restoration. I don't just fix things, I make them new. Sometimes the new version is so different that you won't even recognize the old pain. It will just be a story you tell to help someone else. I used to stay in the hallway too. You'll tell them. I used to think the door was locked, but then I heard a voice that told me it was time, and it was the best thing I ever did. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being the one who offers hope instead of the one who is always searching for it? That transition is happening. It's happening today. It's happening because you're listening to the truth instead of the noise. The noise says you're not enough. The truth says you are mine. The noise says you have to hurry. The truth says you have to be present. The noise says you're alone. The truth says I haven't moved from your side since the day you were born. I want you to sit in this for a moment. Don't rush to the next thing. Don't check your notifications. Don't start planning your to-do list. Just sit in the reality that you are deeply, personally, specifically loved. That the creator of the galaxies knows the exact rhythm of your breathing, and that I am pleased with you. Not because you did something great today, but because you are here. Because you are trying. Because you are open. This message couldn't wait because I didn't want you to spend one more hour doubting your worth. I didn't want you to go to bed one more night thinking you were a disappointment. You are a delight. You are a masterpiece in progress. And the artist is eager to pick up the brush again. So let go. Let's step out of the hallway. Let's see what on the other side of that hesitation. I promise you, it better than you think. It more real than you think. And I am right here walking with you. 1 step, 3 inches of ground, that all. We can do that, can't we? Yes, we can. I love you, my child. And I'm so glad we had this talk. Everything you need will meet you on the path. Not before you start, but as you go. So go. Gently, surely, into the light. I'm right here. I'll always be right here. Just look beside you whenever you feel the wind pick up. You'll see. Everything is going to be just as it should be. Actually, it already is. Rest in that. And then, when you're ready, take that step. Amen. Beloved family, to those who chose to support this ministry, you stepped in during a season when it truly mattered. Your kindness became strength for us. May God surround your life with His peace and grace.